Hey everybody, it's John for MTG Nexus coming at you with some modern Red Prowess after getting done with a Legacy League. Half and half build. Why are you playing Mishra's Ball without Abbott? And Bobble is bad with Bedlam. This is actually a common build that's been occurring. As to the particulars, I'm not sure. This was the first Mono Red list that I could find that had done well recently, because most of the versions of Red that had done well lately were the blue-red versions with like Storm Wing Entity and such. So this is the first Mono Red version I found, and I've also played against some versions with Mishra's Bobble of late. So anyways, what is different about this list than the Legacy list we just played? What is different about this list, period? As Wardog pointed out, we are playing Mishra's Bobble in a Bedlam Reveler deck. Mishra's Bobble was kind of a innovation in the Abbot of Carol Keep Luris versions of the deck. We'll see how that performs in this particular league. Beyond that, Swift Spear, Soulscar Mage, Kiln Fiend are your main threats. Bedlam Reveler to kind of follow up. You have access to Lava Dart, Lava Spike, Lightning Bolt, and Wild Slash as the tertiary burn spell, as opposed to something like Burst Lightning or Seal of Fire, any of that kind of nonsense. 4 copies of Crash Through help get through your deck, as well as get your creatures through a bunch of chump blockers. Manamorphose, just a great card in general. Light up the stage, a little bit more card advantage and selection. And beyond that, obviously your Bedlam Revelers. You also have 4 of the Can lands, 2 Islet, 2 Sunbaked Canyon. So overall, just kind of a very basic Mono Red deck. Sideboard, 4 copies of Abrade. Somebody really hates losing the Chalice of the Void. 1 copy of Dismember, pretty good in a lot of matchups where you need to kill bigger things. Kozilek's Return also kind of pairs with Dismember to have outs to things like Core Firewalker, which a lot of decks have been playing lately. Both Burn and some of the green variants like Devoted Druid and such have been playing that card. 4 copies of Soul Guide Lantern. I know a lot of versions have been playing Relic of Progenitus, but I can understand why you would play Soul Guide Lantern in a version with Bedlam Reveler. 2 copies of Shrine of Burning Rage. This is a card that at times I've been very impressed with. At other times it feels kind of clunky and awkward. This is a card that can deal a lot of damage in a lot of situations, so we'll see how that performs. And then finally, Dragon's Claw. Whenever you need to beat the red decks, you bring out the Claw. And not White Claw either. So that said, let us hop into a Modern League here and see how things go. I am not going to be able to finish this league tonight, so I'm probably going to cut off the stream about 2:45, so we'll at least get a couple matches in, most likely, and finish up the rest of the league tomorrow. Well, Hayashi is killing it this time. Jeez. Guess he got tired of barely losing out on the trophy race. He's obliterating some fools. He or she must be like a moto grinder, like 24/7, because I've seen like 7 a.m. trophies. I've seen 11:55 p.m. trophies. So it feels like they are a moto grinder as their primary thing. Which is weird, because I don't think I ever see anything about M. Hayashi on Twitter or anything, so I don't know if they're a content creator. They're just, or even, his hand's pretty clearly a mulligan. Well, keep Put back Bedlam Reveler, I guess. I was gonna say, we are on the play, right? This hand could go really poorly, really quickly. Especially if they, bobble, bobble. Or put on a Fatal Push. They should have done it on their turn, but it looks like they do not. So... what a weird game. Is this Jund with just a bad hand? Gobos, maybe? Yeah, Gobos would make more sense to not have a play on one. Nope, it's Jund. Ah, Death Shadow. Makes a lot more sense now. Triggers. Do you seriously still have no interaction? Why wouldn't they have Fatal Pushed last turn? So this puts them to 12. Go to, I don't know, 13 down to... Do I just unload my hand here? 2, 5... 2, 5... 9... 11... 13... Means that Street Wraith they're drawing is now completely dead. Cooldown's coming up next turn. Okay. Yeah. We're dead to TBR either way, so I'm not going to bother playing around it. Kolaghan's. We know these are two of the cards in their hand. Okay, so you're saying you're dead. Gotcha. Probably want the Soul Guide Lanterns. The Dismember. Looks like the cuts are the Wild Slashes. A Bedlam. Maybe a Crash Through. Crash Through feels like a card that's not particularly good against a deck full of Death Shadows and such. This hand's a little awkward, but I don't think we want to go down to anything against the Death Shadow deck. Targeting themselves. Okay. Old scry trick here. I think we'll just play Soul Guide Lantern on one. They could have Luris in their deck with the Bauble too. I know the version we played of 4-color Death Shadow had Luris in it, so something to keep in mind. Okay. Yeah, that's another card type in there either, and allows you to get your swamp. Thank you, Ghost, for the raid. Much appreciated. How'd your stream go? I think we play Crash Through here, but we don't really do much else. Yeah, the one thing against Death Shadow is you always want to remember. So far, went 3-2 with Legacy Prowess, and now this is the first match with Modern Prowess tonight. I play additional basic lands? Forest, maybe? Okay, so it looks like they are just Jund. How's Pawns been feeling lately, Ghost? Feels like that's a deck that took more of a hit than people expected. So it feels like they're on a Death Shadow hand. Why didn't they play their Forest last turn? I don't understand why you would traverse for Forest and then not play it. That feels kind of weird. I am going to spike here just because we do want to slowly start emptying our hand for Bedlam Reveler. It's one of those we want to be able to kind of control their life total a little bit and then finish off with Bedlam Reveler. Once again, keeping Soul Guide Lantern. Cling to dust. So... kind of an annoying card. So if I double bolt them, I would put them to 10, which would mean they could get... Hey, Eldrazi Spaghetti Monster, thanks for the follow. If I double bolt them, that would put them to 10, which means they could play Death Shadow this turn. Ghost, thanks for the follow as well, and the raid. Still think we're supposed to double bolt them in response here. Could be wrong, but I also don't want to get stuck with not enough damage to cross the finish line, especially since we're on the kind of burn you out plan instead of the okay, there's a land they should have played last turn. Gotta keep an eye on their card types. Collective Brutality. Okay, that's kind of a bizarre choice. This is game 2. We won game 1. I thought I had my Bedlam math right. It's an awkward set of cards off Bedlam Reveler here. So one downside of keeping a 1-drop free hand is the risk of drawing them in a later game. Tarmogoyf, sure. I think we just attack with Bedlam Reveler here. Opponent knows that's not a good block, right? Gonna give them the benefit of the doubt here and presume that they know that's not a good block. Because their creature just dies for free, basically. I have to sacrifice a mountain to kill it. Okay, 4 card types. Gotta be mindful of if they play a Traverse. Granted, they've already used 2 of them, so Traverse may not be all that good here. It's a Gore Clan Rampager? Or Flashback Cling to Dust? A lot of it depends on what's in their hand. Like, we're definitely ahead on board, and their life total is very much in jeopardy. A lot of it honestly depends on what reactive cards they have in their hand. Collective Brutality. Did they pitch? They pitched Teamer Battle Rage. You have double Collective Brutality here? I've played Izzet in the past. It's fine. The long story short is I was playing an Izzet, or not Izzet, I was playing, okay, so if we flash that back, it would put them to 1. Is that worth it here? They use the Brutality to drain us and deal -2/-2 to Bedlam Reveler. Then they use another Collective Brutality to kill Bedlam Reveler. They still have 1 unknown card in hand. I do think we flash back the Dart. That way, like, basically any spell in our deck is lethal at this point. At least any burn spell. Because otherwise there is a possibility, like, we could get stuck with them at 3 and draw, I don't even know what, like a Swiss Spear or something, and not quite get across the board here. So, basically I was playing Mono Red Prowess for a donation league for one of my YouTube viewers in Legacy tonight, so I just immediately transitioned into Mono Red Prowess. How good am I at this game? I'm decent. I'm not great. Let's force them to answer this Soulscar Mage first. You've got to at least crack your can land, right? Oh, they're flashing back Cling to Dust here. I'll gain them 3 life. Makes sense. A Fatal Push too. Wow. Just had everything. Canopy, short for Canopy Land. Named after Horizon Canopy, which was the original of the lands that they tap for 1 of 2 different colors, and then you can pay 1 and sacrifice it to draw a card. Okay. As far as how good I am, I've never been a particularly serious grinder. I've won 2 PPTQs, day 2 GPs of the 4 I've played. Top 8 at a modern challenge, top 16 a couple other modern challenges, and that's pretty much it. So like I'm decent, but I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm professional level Magic player. Oh yeah, I still have a lot of fun with the game. I wouldn't play it if I didn't. I wouldn't do it as a rather significant hobby / secondary thing to do with my time. Okay, we're on the draw here, which kind of sucks. This hand overall is pretty decent, though. We have a 1-drop in Kiln Fiends, so they have 2 threats they have to answer. Lava Dart's decent in a lot of spots, and Crash Through kind of... Thanks, I appreciate that. How is everybody else doing this evening, this morning, wherever you are? Wanting to 6, we're definitely keeping. This is probably going to be my last match for the night. I do have work in the morning, unfortunately. Alright, Amulet, this is going to be a little rough. I guess we do have the nice thing of Kiln Fiend, which is kind of hard for them to interact with in a meaningful way. No problem, thanks 4-0. Appreciate that. Explore, sure. So they could tighten us next turn. Go ahead and do this. We're just going for as much damage as we can this turn. Lava Dirt you. Triggers. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to quite kill them this turn, so... Well, Bobble certainly helps. They either have Titan this turn or they don't, so... Nice to steal the win on the draw, too. Problem is, without Blood Moon, we don't have a whole lot for this matchup, do we? Probably want the one of Dismember. And then... I think a Braid's overrated in this matchup. A lot of people like to bring in a Braid to try to kill Amulet. I don't think that's worth it. I think we're going to trim one Bedlam Reveler simply because they likely have Bojuka Bog somewhere in their 75. And beyond that, I think we just keep a deck as streamlined as possible. This is very much a racing game, and we were lucky to have our Kiln Fiend there. That's why this card is such a valuable commodity in some matchups. Like, some matchups it's just a cannon fodder, it dies to whatever removal spell, but I think this hand's fine. It's not like amazing. This is kind of like a burn hand, but these burn hands usually don't pan out against Amulet. I still think we keep it though. Alright, well, okay. I don't think this is a turn 3 kill hand, but it certainly put a lot of pressure on our opponent here. Wow. Still think we have to play Kiln Fiend here. Okay, so I'm presuming they have Dryad or Azusa here, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't keep a hand with this terrible of a start. Okay, so it's obviously Azusa. Yep. Indeed it is. What are you still doing up, War Dog? Don't you have to work in the morning, man? Or are you still on, like, that half-schedule crap? Three, 6, 9. Put them to 13, but I think we're probably dead next turn. Oh, well, can only do what we can do, right? So they block Kiln Fiend. It's possible I was just supposed to play the Swiss Spears last turn, but how would the damage have lined up? Well, fortunately, this will be the last match I'm playing tonight, so probably should return the favor and raid somebody, but I don't even know who's currently streaming. Chooses not to go to 2, so we're probably dead next turn. I mean, they can definitely Titan here, so the question is, do they have it? Okay, they have Titan. Now, what do they do with it? So I'm presuming they're going to 6 here. So we need bolt, bolt on the draw steps. Because the creatures ain't getting through. Dismember. I don't think there's any one card we could draw here that... Yeah, this game's just over. Because they can pack for Dryad next turn and then just gun us down. Maybe I'm just giving them too much credit. I don't know. Are you back to a full work schedule, War Dog? Still think we leave the deck as is. I think if we would have been on the play there, we would have easily won that game. This hand's pretty good. It's not like Kiln Fiend amazing, but it's still pretty good. Going to 4. Figured it'd be us mulliganing to Oblivion. Hopefully they don't have like EE on one. It'd be like the one card that could get us. Okay, they have Amulet, sure. So they could Dryad or Azusa next turn. The thing is, I don't know how many resources they're going to have to work with here. Crashner and Swiftspear. Alright. I don't know that we have a turn 3, but we definitely have a turn 4 kill set up. Ah. Wowzers. Swiftspear. So, if they have engineered explosives, we just lose, but I don't think we play around that here. I just missed a boatload of damage there. Opponent should be at 6. Okay. It was Azusa or Dryad? Dryad. Okay. Okay. Crash through. Lava Dart. Lava Dart does whatever the Lava Dart does. that's a nice way to end the stream tonight, I think. So, 2-0 start so far. Be finishing this league tomorrow night. I want to thank everybody for hanging out tonight. I think with Ghost doing us a flavor, we're going to try to pass it on here. Trying to see who's even streaming Modern right now. There's like Janice EB and Cabarito Montes. I'm trying to think. Alright, so let's go ahead and raid Janice there. So, well, thank everybody for hanging out tonight. Been a blast. So, hope everybody has a good night, and I hope everybody joins Janice's stream and has fun.